Hello and welcome to the Boomtown Hoops post-game show. Unfortunately, we are bearing bad news if you somehow missed the past 3 to 4 hours. The Houston Rockets won Game 7 by a final score of 104 to 102, winning the first round series 4-3. They go on to face the Lakers. There's a lot to discuss here. We're going to get directly into feelings. Not really going to get very structured tonight because it's too emotional. Josh, talk to me. How you feeling right now?
I mean, I'm crushed, obviously. I mean, the season's over. And we were talking right before we hopped on. I mean, I'm not as hurt tonight as I was the last two seasons, just because this team was such a massive, overachieving team. The hurt tonight really stems the most from they had it. They had it, and it was, this team won in clutch time all season long, and they had the game in clutch time. CP3 had a look to give them the lead. Lou Dort had the three ball that Harden of all people blocks. And the last possession, I kind of ripped Shea for the inbound. He didn't have anywhere else to throw it. But, even if that ball gets clean to Steve, what's he going to do with it with his back to the basket at the three? He's going to do nothing. So it just stinks to have three or more, just trying to remember the end of the game, looks at the lead and chances to win it and didn't do it. And that's exactly how they won all season. But I mean, it was an amazing season. No regrets with it or anything. It was an awesome year, and it just stings. It just stings, and I'm sure everybody's in the same boat there.
Oh yeah, sting for who? Jesse, talk to me. How are you feeling after that game?
Yeah, I just feel like we had it too, and there at the end of the game, Russ kept missing, and I'm like, thank you. And I just thought we were going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we lost you. We lost your audio.
Oh, no.
There you are.
Back.
I was just saying, Russ was even missing, and I was like, thank you. We're going to go and do that thing that the Thunder have been doing all season long, but it just didn't happen tonight.
It didn't. Bobby,
No.
How are you feeling? Didn't happen tonight.
Look, I got a shout out to Carlton over here in the comments. He wants us to make his feelings feel better. And look, there's a lot of – I agree. I'm in the same boat. There's a lot of stuff to be upset about. It's frustrating. This game was very much in grasp for the Thunder. But here's the thing. This isn't the end game. And honestly, I think here's the only person who can actually put it into words for me.
Look at us. Hey, look at us.
Look at us.
Bobby has hijacked this broadcast.
We had a Lou Dort 30-piece game. Darius Baisley played excellent. And I'm not trying to be the sunshiny, excellent guy here, but there's a lot to be excited about in the future. The Thunder were playing with house money here. We weren't even supposed to be here. And, I mean, it stinks. It's really going to hurt. But, the future is bright. And, that's what I'm going to be holding on to for the next couple months and not, Dennis Schroeder missing a shot or the Chris Paul bunny. So,
yeah. I don't feel that bad at all. I obviously really wanted to win, but the season was strange. Cody, where are you at right now? How are you feeling?
A lot of emotions, honestly. Would have really liked to win this game. It was there for the taking. We only lose by 2 points after giving up 22 turnovers in the game, and the Rockets shooting 12 more shots than us. If we just take care of the ball tonight, it would have been a whole different story. Harden played terrible, and of course he gets that defensive play, and that's going to be the play of the series, and it's going to be super annoying.
That was hard to
super
watch.
Super annoying to have to see that this next week.
Especially he dodges the throw too. Just
right.
Yeah.
Just brutal. He plays terrible, but he gets that play, so it's all fine.
And
pissing me off.
Yeah, so it's annoying. But like Bobby said, I mean, the future's bright. If we win this series, us going up against the Lakers, I mean, I don't think anyone's going to pick us to beat the Lakers. So this was kind of our ceiling, I think, personally. So it just would have been good to beat Harden and Russ and to have the Houston Rockets just turn into shambles. I would have just loved it so much. But
yeah,
wasn't meant to be. Cinderella became the pumpkin tonight. So
I was ready, truthfully, if the Thunder won tonight, I was ready to proclaim that we did to the Rockets what Dame did to us last year. Because I think the Rockets would have blown this thing up if the Thunder won tonight. I'm thinking D'Antoni gets fired or not re-signed or whatever their situation is there. And they might look into trading, I don't know. I don't want to speak. I don't know. Well, I think they would consider it, this all season. But
we
don't
will
have that
get
conversation now.
into all that. We'll fire Billy Donovan later. We'll trade Chris Paul later. Tonight,
Oh gosh.
I want to talk about this man, Lou Dort. Josh,
Oh,
give me your best stump speech for Dort tonight. I don't know.
okay. Lou Dort is the man. Okay. I mean, he comes out with just a 30-piece in Game 7. What can you say? He completely just outplayed Harden in every sense of it, clamped him on the defensive end, and then doubles his points practically on the other side. He's ripping threes. For him to have the game he had a couple games ago where he went 0 for 9 from 3, and he just comes out and does this, Lou is just I don't know what else to even say about him. I'm out of the right words. I can't even be hyperbolic enough about him because he's been unbelievable, and he's without a doubt a huge part of this team, as is Darius Bazley, obviously SGA, and those three guys. SGA didn't play well tonight, but those three guys were three of our better players in the series for the most part. So, as Bobby said, future is incredibly bright, and for Lou to have the game he had, I'm so happy for him because he was getting clowned a lot after his terrible Game 5. Just him to play like that and to ball out and completely outplay Harden, and far and away he was our best player tonight. You just can't help but feel awesome for him, and boy, I'm excited to have him for a full season next year.
Yeah, and what was this? The youngest player in what is that? No, it's NBA history. NBA to score 30 points in a Game 7.
It was the most amount of points in a Game 7 by an undrafted rookie.
Well,
Saw that, but he was also
highly
like
specific.
he was also like
A
the
little bit.
youngest. Him and LeBron, I think, were like the youngest players with that amount of points in a Game 7 or something. And Jason Tatum was in there. He said there was like a million of those stats. It was hard to keep track of them all. But
Right.
Chris
Another
Paul,
guy though.
Chris Paul, oldest guy in NBA history with a triple-double in a Game 7. This is all about the very oddly specific stats, but
Hey, no, I'm into it though. Bobby, on that topic though, how do you feel about Chris Paul's night? I wanted to see him get a shot at the end of the game, but he did drop a triple-double. How do you feel about it?
I thought he played a steady game. I think we definitely needed a lot more out of him, especially down the stretch. But it's hard to blame him for it. I thought he did a solid job. There are a lot of other issues with this team in this game. Way too many turnovers, but in general, Chris Paul did his job. Got the triple double. Did a decent job of navigating the offense. So, I'm not going to proclaim him as, an incredible player, but he had a very solid, par for the course night for Chris Paul. But, when you're trying to win a Game 7, you need your guy to do more than par for the course. You need him to go to that next level, and he just wasn't. That's okay.
I think the same can be said for both of his backcourt mates, especially Shea. Jesse, talk to me about our guy. We've been expecting big things from him for a long time. Do you have any, I don't know, do you feel the same as you did before regarding Shea, or do you think this was just a young guy in the moment?
I mean, honestly, I'm a little let down. I mean, if I had to watch him drive through the lane and get caught in the air one more time, I think I was going to lose it. I do think he had a pretty solid night, but I think we would all want more. And we haven't even talked about Gallo yet and his 4 points, which 6 shots isn't going to cut it either. So
Pretty lame.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not super sad because I think this season you kind of took what you could from it, but I just feel like they had it tonight and they let it go, and that's the part that hurts.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And on that point, Cody, Gallo goes off in Game 6. We were playing the song. You guys were playing the song. Everybody was getting ridiculous. Tonight, 4 points completely disappeared. What happened there?
Honestly, I don't know. He's been so up and down in this series. It's just you can't rely on him, and that's just kind of crazy considering he's one of the more reliable guys in the regular season. I don't know if it was a rhythm thing. I don't know if it's just the 4-month layoff and then coming back into basketball just wasn't able to get his shots going. It's just very sporadic, and he even misses a free throw to send the game into a 1-point deficit with the last shot going in. So
yeah.
I don't know. It's just super frustrating. it'll be interesting to see what he does this offseason for sure.
Oh, for sure. He could be an expensive piece. Let's see here. We firing Billy? Josh, we firing Billy?
Well, it is not firing. It's just not re-signing.
Okay, I like
so that's
that.
different. I think that does matter. I think that makes it easier to do it if you wanted to. I wouldn't hate it. I don't think they will. I think that they'll bring him back, but I wouldn't argue with it if they did. He did some really dumb things tonight. I mean, how is Bazley not in the game more? He doesn't play the entire third quarter. And after he has such productive minutes in the first half, Bazley, anybody with eyeballs can tell you that Darius Bazley had a great series and Nerlens Noel had a horrible series. Let's put Bazley in the game more. But then after Bazley sat for like over an hour of real time, he's in the fourth, like the middle of the fourth quarter. It just didn't make any sense. He did a lot of goofy things. Why is Steve even on the floor at the end of the game? What was the point with that 1 second? What was he going to do? So I didn't understand that either. He does goofy things all the time. I think he's like a perfectly fine coach, but you'll never win a title with him. I would, like I said, I think they'll end up bringing him back, but I would encourage them to look at what's out there and think about it at least.
Well, on the subject, what do you think the design was on that last play? He only had 10 minutes to draw it up, so
I have no idea because it seemed like nobody was coming for the ball, and then Shea kind of got. I ripped Shea for the pass, but I have since calmed down a little bit and given him a slight more pass on it because he really did have nowhere to go, and he just tried to get it to somebody and not get the 5 second because it just. I don't know. I can't remember if it was Gallo or CP3 was like in the corner, and it's CP3, Dennis, and Gallo are all out there. Somebody's got to get open to something. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what happened.
And throwing it to Adams makes sense with a little bit more time on the clock. We've seen it
because he can dish it off.
That Russ game winner in Denver, Singler goes to Adams, Adams goes to Russ.
Exactly.
Everyone celebrates, but no
time for that.
Let's see. Dylan wants to know, Bobby, are you still eating the cake, or I think we determined you were going to eat all the ingredients of a cake, not.
It was going to be like eggs, flour, all of that individually. So, look, I was willing to put that on the line for a Thunder win. It didn't happen. So maybe hedge my bets a bit. But no, cake's completely out of the question. After this, I feel like I ate the ingredients of a cake already, like just in emotions.
Put it in the bank, save it for next year when they get out of the first round.
Yeah, for sure. And I got to say this about – I just want to chime in on Billy. The thing that drives me nuts about that Bazley thing, we knew at the start of this series that all of us, at least all of us Jamokes, thought that Darius Bazley was going to be very solid at the 5. He turned out to be very solid at the 5. We had 6.25 games or 6.5 games of Darius Bazley being an effective piece at the 5. How do you not have Bazley in there? It drives me nuts. It reeks of Scott Brooks, and it makes me so frustrated.
It's like not just keep piling on it, but it's like it'd be one thing if Steven Adams, and more specifically if Nerlens Noel was doing something. And Nerlens, I don't know if he did a single productive thing the whole series. Like I can't believe
things. Just not
positive things. Yeah, I mean he was just giving us nothing. He's not getting rebounds. He's not blocking shots. He's got 2 left feet. I've been saying that 2 left hands, 2 left feet. There's no way it could have, at the very worst, been a lateral move. So it made no sense.
It's just frustrating when something is so obvious before the games are even played.
Yes.
Plays out over an entire series, and then nothing changes. It's just, we're a bunch of idiots with a little StreamYard, and we know better than Billy, it feels like.
And that's how every one of these Billy Donovan series has felt very similar to that.
It's not as bad as playing Kendrick Perkins against Udonis Haslem at the 5 for an entire NBA final, but it feels really frustrating. I'm sorry. I know I'm the optimism guy. I'm just very upset.
Cody, Jesse, do you have anything to add to this?
I'll let you go first, Jesse, if you want to.
Yeah.
Just madness.
I mean, I wasn't a Billy fan going into the season, but I really kind of bought into it this year. So I think he let me down this series too, because just like Bobby said, it's so frustrating to sit there and have these problems and those still be your problems in Game 7, and you haven't really made any adjustments. So I know they were right in this game, but looking at it all, it is frustrating to me.
Yeah. Cody? You firing Billy? I'm on the Billy train, so.
Yeah, I think Billy's a good developmental coach for young guys. We've seen it over the years. Jeremy Grant really improved a lot. I think Shea's improved a whole bunch. I even think Dennis has improved his game a whole bunch since coming over to the Thunder. Hopefully we can continue that with whoever we have the coach, if it's Billy or if it's someone in the future, to help Dort, Baisley, and Shea really grow their games. That being said, Billy made some just dumb lineup choices throughout the series. It was just like you have Dort and you have Adams out there for a significant amount of minutes. Neither one of them can really shoot. I know Dort.
You kidding me?
Okay, it's a 30-point game from Lou Dort. But, I'm flabbergasted.
And people will say he was almost coach of the year. He was a finalist. You can miss me with that because Chris Paul, I think, is really the coach of the year. I think Chris Paul's impact on the team can't be overstated. Billy did good things. I don't want to say nothing, but I think Chris Paul was basically the de facto coach for a large part of the season.
Yeah, and if you're going to make a change, it would make sense to make it now. Given the young pieces, the draft picks that you've got coming up, you would want to settle into something, a new system, a new culture. I think he's coming back. We'll see. He's a Presty guy, if there is one.
Company man.
Yes, sir. All right, so before we say goodbye, I'm just going to let everyone have the floor for just one big thing from tonight, parting thoughts on the series before we pick back up in a later show and discuss the season as a whole. So, Bobby, start us off here. What's your one big thing from the series here?
We'll get into the season at a later date. But for the series, look, if this was a normal year where we were looking at this as not a weird, fluky, 0.2% year, I think we would look at it as a series of missed opportunities. However, I'm looking at this as the absolute cornerstone to what could be a really great future in Oklahoma City. This was a year where we took something we took something into the unknown. Without Russell Westbrook, without Durant, without Harden, we went into a season completely stripped everything bare, and we went in and had an excellent year. I think it was a transformative year for the Oklahoma City Thunder franchise. I think we all kind of grew up a bit, and at the end of the day, we have a lot of really great pieces in Baisley and Dort and obviously Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and our 40 million draft picks. And if you ask me right now, if you ask me right now at the end of the season, who feels better about the future, it's going to be Oklahoma City over Houston. Houston, I don't see this thing going beyond next round. It's not tenable. They're going to blow up, but the Thunder, our future is here, and we gave it a hell of a run, and I'm incredibly proud of the guys, and the best is yet to come. It really, I feel like this season showed that, the Thunder is more than just Russell Westbrook or Kevin Durant. It's about this team, it's about this community, it's about the philosophy. And it's going to be here long after every single player here is gone. This is about an organization, and I think it was a big point in changing that. So that's my soliloquy on that.
All right, speak on. Jesse, how you feeling?
I just want to talk about Lou, because if you told me that he had 30 points and Harden had 17. Yeah. I would have thought that we would have come out with the win. Now, I do think if he was going to bait the Rockets into leaving him open for Game 7, like he could have told us, earlier in the series. But I'm trying to think positive, and that's my takeaway from this series. He didn't shoot great, but he pulled it together for Game 7.
What's going on over there?
my lamp is going on and off on its own. I don't know.
Me.
It's just you. Yeah, it's distracting me too. Cody, what's your one big thing from the series? God.
I really just like the fight of the guys. You go down 2-0 and a very bad looking 2-0, and then you force a game 7 and you have a very good chance to win a game 7. It's just good to see the guys rally around each other and really fight to win. It definitely looked like we were the hungrier team towards the back end of that series. And, we talked about it after game 6, we couldn't have 19 turnovers again and expect to win. And we had more turnovers and lost the game. So I think that's really what it comes down to, is just we were pretty careless with the basketball and just couldn't get the shots to fall whenever we needed them to. But yeah, it's going to be an awesome future. We have, I think it's up to 15 draft picks in the next 7 drafts. I mean, and that's not including what we might get for some of these guys that we happen to trade at, say, the draft or sometime next year. So I'm very optimistic on the future. Just looking forward to it. Yeah,
as am I. Josh?
Yeah, like you said, we'll talk more about the season stuff later. But as far as just this series, I love how they just refused to die so many times. I mean, you dropped those first 2 games, and we sat here in this post-game show after – oh, geez, that's a take right there. We sat here in this post-game show after game 2, and I was honest in that I thought this series was over. I didn't think we were going to get a game. Thought it was going to be a sweep, and they came back, got the next 2. They got smashed in the face in game 5, came back, got game 6, and then tonight just – battled, and they went down swinging. You can definitely not say that they didn't give it all they had to the very, very end. So from that perspective, it was awesome. I'm extremely encouraged from how Dort played in this series and how Bazley played in this series. SGA is weird because he had several really good games and several really bad ones. And even tonight, he hit a huge shot. Was it to go up 1 or to cut it to 1? I can't even remember. I don't know. It was a big 3 toward the end. Yes. Yeah. And that's something that I said before the season, is that I felt this season would be a success if they made the playoffs and just had a competitive first-round series, very similarly to that season. That's like the exact season I had in my mind. And we got that. How could you – I mean, we were 1 shot from winning this game and going to the second round. We won as many playoff games this year as we did with Russ and PG combined. And that's with Lou Dort being our best player for some of these games. For tonight, he was our best player. So it's impossible. I mean, I feel as good after a series loss as really you could possibly feel. And I look forward to talking about the future and the season as a whole. More here coming up. But, tough loss. But, boy, they gave it all they had. And, I mean, we traded our best player to this team and took all their picks and almost beat them. We were that close. That's not supposed to happen. Rockets fans are very unsatisfied with this series, even though they won it, and that should make us all feel good inside.
And it does. Their unhappiness generally makes me happy.
Also, Harden played terrible, and Russ was awesome. So let's get off Russ's back a little bit.
Before we go, though, I'm just going to bring this back. This is my favorite comment that we've ever received. Steven Adams is an Australian Kwame Brown.
He's better than that.
Cliff Godfrey needs to learn his oceanic nations. New Zealand.
I think that's what makes it so wonderful.
Steven Adams was just born like 10 years too late. If he just played in the NBA like 10 years ago, he would be talked about much more highly than he is. He just isn't really a fit in today's NBA all the time.
Well, there are teams that he makes sense against. This was not one of them.
No, it was bad. Bad draw for him.
He'd be great against the 2010 Lakers. Yep. I'm just saying.
Fair enough. Well, that is it for this evening. We are going to get out of here. Everyone needs to go to sleep. Think about this. I think we're going to be all right, guys. This is a season that we can be proud of, but I'm not going to do all that tonight. We're going to get into that later. So get some sleep. Like I said, I was joined by Bobby and Josh and Jesse and Cody, and my name is Weston. We got one more comment here. No, not important. All right, guys. Good night.
It's just